California leads the world in no duh moments. In fact, ever since the takeover by one singular party in the state of California, they've been headed in the wrong direction in an accelerated and alarming rate. We've seen Governor Gavin Newsom in that particular state run everything as far into the ground as possible and helping the largest cities in his state do exactly the same thing with idiotic policies, directives, and practices that have actually placed the state's huge economy in a lot of danger. In fact, this is a state that's on the verge of collapsing in more than a few ways. But let's take a look at why in today's story, no duh is basically the only thing you can say here. New California law aims to reduce smash and grab robberies, car thefts, and shoplifting. I will suggest that those laws already exist on the books, and I will also suggest that whether or not this is a bipartisan effort, which we'll get into in a moment, it means very little because you already have the laws on the book to do this. You just don't have the will nor support from the district attorneys that will choose whether or not to charge these crimes. Well, whether they have the temerity and will to actually move forward with actual charges. And one of the biggest problems, as you probably already know, is that they've softened the laws when it comes to these crimes and basically incentivized them and created whole gangs of people that participate in these practices. But here we are with this new law from Governor Goodhair. Let's dive into it. Governor Gavin Newsom on Friday signed a bipartisan package of bills. When they say bipartisan, consider this. It's not really all that bipartisan, considering that at any one time in the last several years, the number of Republican representatives that are some of the 80 seats that make up their congressional assembly are numbering at 17 versus 62, which are majority Democratic, with one vacant seat currently, with probably to be filled by somebody that is equally as partisan, which has been a small problem, and with a pretty weak minority leader, which is not helpful. But back to the story itself. Um, the number of bills that were signed were 10, and they aim to crack down on the smash and grab robberies and property crime, making it easier to go after repeat shoplifters, auto thieves, and increase penalties for those running professional reselling schemes. Well, the problem is these are loosely affiliated people who are just looking to get a piece of whatever action it is for stealing the less than whatever $950 or whatever the rule is now in California. By making the limit that high, you've incentivized crime on everything below that number. So these people are just doing their level best to get their piece of the incentivized criminality pie. The move comes as Democratic leadership works to prove that they're tough enough on crime. Tough enough. How about just be tough on crime? You've been soft on crime, as you've been accused of being for a very long time. There's no argument there when we can witness while live news reports are going on, people just with no worry at all break into places, smash, grab, and steal while the cameras are rolling because they're not worried about being prosecuted, which is where a lot of these problems come from. And they're being driven by one particular man with a lot of money who's not subject to this story, but we'll probably talk about that another time. So they're trying to convince voters right now to reject a ballot measure that has been successfully placed that would bring even harsher sentences for repeat offenders of shoplifting and drug charges. How do you prove that you're tough on crime? I mean, this is a simple question, right? How do you prove you're tough on crime if you don't want to see harsher sentences for the people that are repeat offenders? You see, there's no disincentive for recidivism uh, that they're willing to support. That wouldn't matter anyway. Probably wouldn't have been prosecuted because, well, the DAs out there don't do their job. Again, because they're funded by one particular man who's really dead set on ruining civilization in the United States. So it's an easier target for quote unquote radical change. We'll keep going. While shoplifting has been a growing problem, large scale smash and grab thefts, in which groups of individuals brazenly rush into stores and take goods in plain sight, have become a crisis in California and elsewhere in recent years. Of course, notice that the politics of those individual states are dominated by one political party. You probably can guess which one. Such crimes are often captured on video and posted on social media, have brought particular attention to the problem of retail theft in the state. I wonder how many stores remain open in the part of San Francisco related to the fish market, Fisherman's Wharf, and other areas there that are popular destinations. There was a substantial shopping district in that part of California, which mainly is empty right now, with vacancies the dominating news of the day, with very few stores left operating there. The legislation includes the most significant changes to address retail theft in years, the Democratic governor stated. It allows law enforcement to combine the value of goods from different victims to impose harsher penalties and arrest people for shoplifting using video footage or witness statements, which again will be somewhat unreliable. Witness statements usually get smacked down, but we'll see. Says this goes to the heart of the issue. No, it doesn't. It's just more words on a piece of paper for laws that are already in place that you're not enforcing. And even when you are, you're not actually having prosecutors prosecute for, which is bonker sauce in my estimation. He says this is the real deal. No, it's not. The package received bipartisan support in the legislature. What? One of the 17 Republicans voted for it? I don't know. They're citing concerns that some of the measures are too punitive. They're not punitive enough. Or just go back to enforcing the laws that you amended to make it easier for this to happen. I really don't understand the issues here. Maybe you can explain it to me. My friends that are still left in California, which I would not return to if I can help it. The legislation also cracks down on cargo thefts, close a legal loophole to make it easier to prosecute auto thefts, and require marketplaces like eBay and Nextdoor to start collecting bank accounts and tax ID numbers. No, this is a power grab. That's not how you go about solving this problem. You just solve the problem. You don't collect people's information. Government isn't always entitled to everything, which is something we need to realize here in this country. Retailers also can obtain restraining orders against convicted shoplifters under one of the bills. Here's the problem: you're not prosecuting the crimes, so they're not being convicted. None of this law helps. That's just one of the many loopholes that they're leaving in place to do another grab of people's information. And again, you're now going to make it so that eBay and Nextdoor and others are going to not get business in California, because there are a lot of people realizing and waking up to the fact that they don't need all of their data collected all the time. I'm one of those people. We know the retail theft has consequences, big and small, physical and financial, said State Senator Nancy Skinner, who authored one of the bills. That's what she said on Friday. And we know we have to take the right steps in order to stop it without returning to the days of mass incarceration. And that's their whole motivation, because they know the people that will vote for them are the ones who are going to be put in prison. Sorry to say it. That probably is going to get called a lot of nasty things, but seems to be true if you look at, well, what's been going on lately. Democratic lawmakers led by Newsom spent months earlier this year unsuccessfully fighting to keep a tougher on crime initiative off the November ballot. Of course, he didn't want to enforce this. He doesn't mind the state falling into complete disrepair and while pushing a lot of the residents into poverty. This particular state, the engine of the economy of the United States, or one of them, the at one point seventh largest economy in the world, not just in the United States, but in the world, is starting to not just decline, but literally fall apart. The ballot measure, Proposition 36, is going to make it a felony for repeat shoplifters and some drug charges, among other things. And of course, the Democrats worried the measure would disproportionately criminalize low-income people and those with substance abuse issues rather than target ringleaders who hire large groups of people to steal. Honestly, you should already be taking the ringleaders, and putting them in prison as well. There's a lot of charges that are much more severe than you can imagine, than any of these things that would place these recidivists, in prison. There's a big problem here, and it's the fact that they don't want people to be accountable for their own actions. And if you have the right think, they help you get away with it. At least that's my opinion. What's yours? Let me know your thoughts on this particular pursuit of justice in California and whether or not it's justice at all. Because the people who are affected disproportionately are the people who make the economic engine work, at least, in part in the state of California and also around the United States, because purchases in and out of California are substantial in a very populous state governed by a very few people with all the same ideas, which are the wrong ones, driving the state, well, the wrong direction. Don't believe me? Look at the mass exodus from California and other states with this mindset. It is significant. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below and double check while you're down there that you've hit the like button because, this is a fun story. Also, double check that you're still subscribed. Why? Well, because if you're not, it's free and you should do it. Also, you might be surprised to find out you've been unsubscribed. And if you resubscribe and you comment on this video, at least YouTube will know that you're interested in my channel still. Also, if you watch another one of my videos, and I've created a handy playlist for all the videos I've released in 2024, you'll be able to convince YouTube that you want to remain on this channel. You'll also drive more people here. Be sure to turn all the notifications on if they aren't at all, because especially if you're gifted a membership, you'll know. And you'll be able to check out some of the great members things that we do here on this channel. On that note, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see you.